Hello, I'm Mark Shinesk, Senior Application Engineer with Siler Design Solutions. And in this video, it's a portion of our webinar from October 13th of the top 15 tips and tricks from Autodesk software. This portion will be dedicated towards Civil 3D. So sit back and enjoy my top 5 tips and tricks for Civil 3D 2021. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. My top ones, but I'm gonna kind of show them to you as I go through here. So I kind of just to keep my head straight, because I had so many of them I wanted to do here. So I'm going to talk about these are the hidden little gems in Civil 3D that you don't think about. Some of them, except the last one. The last one's going to be pretty neat. I got it numbered wrong. First one here is a profile crossing tool. It's a hidden tool to modify profile of view settings. It's in your profile view settings, and it's simply there for those of you working on road jobs. I'm going to be working in the same little job here. I got a little job with a few corridor separate horizontal and vertical alignments, an existing surface. I got some profile views cut, and I have some cross sections. So this is one of my favorite ones, and it's hidden away. So one of the things that that helps us as designers, especially doing intersection designs, to be able to see those intersection crossing elevations. If I have a long road here that has several different intersections that I'm crossing, being able to see those on the profile window would be very easy and very nice. So if I select my profile view, so I'm going to select my profile view for this one road right here. What I can do is it's hidden away. You notice I get my contextual ribbon in Civil 3D, and on the far right side here under Launchpad, I get a if I pull that extra little pull down button here where it says Launchpad, you'll see Add Crossings to Profile View. And this is why I'm showing you this, because it's hidden away. Unless you're looking for these tools, you don't know where they are. And what I'm going to do is by picking on that, it's going to select objects to add to my profile view. In here in my plan view, I'm going to select that center line alignment and this center line alignment. And I think I'll pick this center line alignment. And then go ahead and hit enter. It's going to bring up this add crossings to profile view dialog box. Now it's asking me for which, not only the horizontal alignment, but all the profiles that are associated with those. So I'm going to clear those all out, and I'm just going to pick the horizontal alignment. Oops. I'm just going to pick the profile views that matter to me, and that's that finished grade at the center line of Zion Parkway, Bryce Canyon, and Canyonland Street. I have a marker style set up for it already. Called projection section road center lines. If I take a view of that, it's just going to put a marker and a vertical line on a particular layer in my profile view. And then I'm going to have a crossing label style too that's going to label that center line elevation on my profile. As soon as I hit OK, if I zoom in on my profile windows here, I'll go ahead and make that a little bigger. You can see now those center line alignments are showing up in my profile view, and they are labeled with the elevation. Let me pull this elevation down. So there's where, one of these roads crosses, and I can put the alignment name in there. That's Canyonland Street, FG. So that labels the marker right here. So that's station 1395, Canyonland Street, finished grade at center line, crossing elevation 466. So it's very nice to have those kind of labels just automatically pop up. That's the first little tool. Again, when you select your profile view, or if you're in the modify profile view ribbon, it's under here under Launchpad, add crossings to profile view window. Okay, the next one I wanted to show you was the transparent commands. Transparent commands have been around since forever. Just as it said here, they're hidden in plain sight. But since Civil 3D 2020, they've been moved, actually 2019.2, they've moved into a handy dandy ribbon tab. And what they do is allow you to smartly move and select positional data from your drawing and apply it to any Civil 3D or AutoCAD command. We have back in Civil 3D, we always have these wonderful tools for, go back to a plan view here. We always have these wonderful tools for drawing lines by bearing or by range or by northern easting or create line by azimuth. But what if I had an object, what if I had a block or a circle or something and I needed to move this by a certain bearing or distance? I could come through here and draw a line by bearing and distance and then use that as a reference to move that particular object. But down here on the side, right here, we've always had the transparent command toolbar as part of our GUI in Civil 3D, but it's been very rarely paid attention to or used. So like I said, it has been moved here to this ribbon tab, which gives a little better explanation of what the tools are, and it's been organized a little bit better. So let's say I wanted to move this circle by a certain bearing and distance. I can play an AutoCAD move command, select my item, give any kind of base starting point. And let's say I wanted to move this by bearing and distance. I'm going to choose bearing and distance. Now, in the middle, these transparent commands can only be accessed via once you're in a command. If I try to run these without running any kind of command, it won't do anything. It'll just tell me must be run within the command. So right now I'm right in the middle of the command. I'm going to choose bearing and distance, and it immediately switches over and says, okay, choose a quadrant. So with that bearing and distance command, I got to choose, one of the 4 basic quadrants. So I'm going to move this in the northeast quadrant. So I'll choose quadrant 1, or I could type quadrant 1, either or. And you notice now the graphic limits it to quadrant 1. And now I can supply my bearing. So let's say I'm going to move this 25 degrees, 30 minutes, and 45 seconds from north. So I'll put 25, 30, 45 in there, and that locks my bearing. And now I can just type in a distance that I want to move it, maybe 250 feet. And then it moved that particular item along that bearing and that distance, rather than me having to sit and calculate out, my azimuth from right angle 0. So that's a starting command. Another good command. There's a lot of profile commands available in the ribbon here. Let's say I wanted to draw just a plain line. Now, our profile views, we have an exaggerated vertical scale opposed to a horizontal. And if I needed to just draw a line at from a particular area at a certain percentage grade, I would have to sit there and calculate, okay, I'm 4 times vertical exaggeration, carry the 1 minus the price of eggs. So I got a little bit of work to do, or I can use the transparent command guides here. Oh, look, here's one for grade and length. So now you can choose grade and length. It'll ask me to choose the profile window. And now specify a grade. I'll say 3%. And for, 500 feet. And now that is a line that is represented properly in my profile view window at a 3% grade, even with taking into account the exaggeration, because it read that data off the profile view and it asked me that. So again, I have other commands: zoom to point, latitude and longitude. I can match length, match radius of objects. I can get information from a point. I can do filtering of points. I even have this handy dandy profile view tool set, which will break up my window one more time and allow me to enter data by station, length, elevation, just by filling in the windows. This is new. I can set up the way my viewports look: plan view on the left side, profile view on the right side. This is a little more a good tool to use when you're running your initial profiles. If you have to copy maybe from a spreadsheet or something, a profile grade and lengths, you can use this tool just to type in objects, and every time you hit enter, it'll add another bucket, whatever to the profile. Just close when you're done, and it'll restore your view. So that's the number two, the transparent commands. They've always been there. Go ahead and experiment and use them. They're very handy, even for pulling data. Ooh, I know that sound. I'm gonna have to restart my Civil 3D. It sounds like nope, I'm working okay. We're good. Nope, there it is. Remember, you get that for free. I keep telling my customers that's always you don't have to pay extra for that. All right. So while that's loading up, I'm gonna go to my next one here. We're going to talk about cross-section label sets. Now, this has always been another one question. How do I clean up my annotation on a cross-section? And back up in 2016, Civil 3D, they introduced what is called the cross-section label sets. Yeah, I'm going to skip the drawing recovery, and I'm just going to go right back into that same drawing. So when you're placing cross sections, obviously when you're setting up your cross sections for your proposed corridor, we're setting up code set styles for Civil 3D, and part of those code set styles are the addition of labels. So I'm going to open this up from there. Part of those are code set styles from labels. But the downside is that you really don't have any control of how they look depending on what scale drawing you're going to use. So back in 2016, Civil 3D offered an alternative way to label your cross sections by something called a label style set. And in this particular view here, I have two sets of cross sections run of the same corridor model. One side is using the set of labels that you would get from the code set style. For this particular code set style, if I come here to my settings tab, I expand my multi-purpose styles. I come down here to code set styles. I am using view edit with shading. If I edited that, you can see that for particular points, I'm pulling up a label style called view edit. And if I look at that view edit style, it should just list the offset and the elevation, which is what you're seeing here, the offset and the elevation. For the shape style, I'm getting nothing. And for the links, I think on the main line here, I'm getting my view edit sections, which is going to be the cross slope grade of the pavement. And that's all well and good if my view scale was down to 1:5 or 1:1, where I could shrink those scales, annotative scales down to make life work. And if it crashes again, I'll be upset. There we go. But when you're cutting cross sections, you're typically going to be cutting cross sections in the sheet like 1:20, 1:30, or something like that. So in lieu of those types of labels, we're going to show you Civil 3D label sets. If you haven't been using them already, there's a little bit of setup you have to do in Civil 3D. First of all, you have to have a code set style that has a label associated with it. So all the label sets do are take what you have, so set up your code set style the way you're going to use, and place labels on the points that you want labels. It doesn't matter what label. You can put a null label on there. It just has to be something other than none. These represent the positions that the label set will override these with its own labels. So that's the first step that has to be done. Secondly, in your settings down here in sections, under label styles, you'll see that label sets. And I have a label set here called section label set demo. And if you're familiar with the alignment sets and the profile sets, it's a set of label styles. So for segments, I'm going to use this percentage grade, okay, and I'm going to weed them out. Anything less than 20 feet, if I get 20 of them in a row, I'm going to weed those out. Corridor points, on the other hand, I have another replacement corridor point that looks exactly like the other one. It's going to be offset in elevation, but with the label style set, I can go through and I can stagger. Okay, so if I get two labels that appear side by side, like these two here, I'll go over to the other label set that I've already labeled. You can see what it's going to do. It's going to stagger them out so they're always legible. All right. With that, and then here you can see my label styles. So what I'm going to do then is set those label styles up. Then if I run them, let's say I've run a set already, and I want to use those styles, I can either erase the set that I have, run a brand new set, but I have to make a change under my commands. So here under section view, under commands, under create section view, or even create multiple section view, if I edit the command settings, down here under section view creation, it asks whether you want to use the code set style, which is the default, or the section label set style. So there's one style or the other, and you can switch back and forth between the two. There's a horrible command here. Gosh, I'm gonna remember it if I remember. It's called corridor section label convert. There it is. Corridor sections label convert. So I can convert from the code set style to the label set style. Select the views. I'll select a couple views here in my other view that I want to convert. Hit enter, and it asks me, okay, do you want them to remain a code set style, or do you want to use the point label set styles? So if I choose the point label set styles, and then I choose the style that I want to use, you can see now it's converted those, and now they are offset. And I could do that with an entire run. Sometimes I have to do a regen to make sure that they take into account that everything's done. But for the most part, it works really well. If once in a while I will do a code set style conversion that doesn't take or it wipes away something, I just have to go back through into my group properties, either my section group properties or my sample line group properties, reset the style the way I wanted to, and it will reset everything, and then I can go through and convert them a second time. Or if I do change my command line so that when I run these sections, that style will already take place and everything will be nice and divvied out, and then you can see I can read everything without having to worry about crowding of labels. You just have to take some time to set up your styles to do this, and it doesn't take very long to do it all. Okay, so that's a hidden secret. I mean, I know some people are using it, others don't even know it exists, so I did want to point that out. The next thing I'm going to go through is continued corridor targeting. Continued corridor targets, if you're doing manual intersection work in Civil 3D, I'll make this really short here. Back here in Civil 3D, I have an intersection that I want to do. You know, when you do intersections and set up your intersections, you typically run your connected alignments, and then you'll set those up in regions. And one of the things you do when you do a region setting is you'll say, okay, I'll select my corridor that I'm adding my region to, which would be this one. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to say add region. And I'm going to choose this baseline here. I'm going to go from this point to this point and say I'm going to use my curve returns. And then immediately it asks me what my targets are. Well, I got to target the ground. And I got to target, this alignment here. And add that, and I'm going to target the center line of this alignment here. Oops. And add that. And then I got to go through and add my vertical alignment. So that's Bryce Canyon, center line FG, and then also this edge of pavement for the offset alignment is what. That's a lot of sitting there snapping targets, okay? So I'll do this first one, and it gets my targets right. But now I got to do this other one, and I don't want to sit here and retype targets. I found that if you stay in the command, and then down here in your command line where it says specify the region start state, choose baseline again, and it will ask you to choose a secondary baseline. So I'm going to the next baseline for the next quadrant of my intersection. And I got to go clockwise. So I'm going to go clockwise here. And if I do that, all my targets remain. I don't have to reset my targets. All I got to do is hit OK, and those targets are set. And then I can do that for all 4 quadrants. And then once that's done, I can come back through after the fact, edit my frequency, change that down to what I need to do, whatever I wanted it. I also want to make sure I get this guy right here. Parent intersection there. Enter. Oops, I didn't get that station. There we go. Okay. And then I'll do the same thing to this side, 2, 2, 2. Okay. And clean up those stations. So then I have my intersection that comes through. So I just wanted to show you that targeting, once you start the command, so I can do all 4 intersections, all I got to do is change from this baseline to this baseline, one target, instead of having to run through the target 4 separate times. I can run the command once. As long as I don't exit the command, you hit that baseline and just move to the next baseline, provided you added all your baselines already to your corridor model. Okay, and then you'll end up with your intersection. The last tool I wanted to show before I exit here, this is new, and this is available only for users of the AEC collection, is the Project Explorer. So there's a new tool that's out. It's by a company called 3AM Solutions in the UK. They were a private developer of this tool, and what it is it is a explorer for your drawing that's a supplement to the prospector. It's divided out into several different tabs based upon the different types of objects we have here. So I don't have to go around the drawing. I can basically run through my drawing in the command line here, look at my different alignments with profiles, my corridor models, different corridor models, see which assemblies they're using along the baseline. Here's all my baseline and regions down here. So for this particular region, I can see which assembly I'm using. I can go ahead and change the assembly or change the alignment. I can go to my feature lines and see which feature lines are being generated. Okay. I can look at my COGO points. Here's all my surface data. I can compare surface to surface. I can do my own layouts, look at pipe networks. I can create my own custom reports. So if I wanted to compare surface to surface, I'll say new object set. It's going to be a report to a PDF file. I can create an object set, output path, and all those different objects in here. So I can run an action, create a report, create a custom table, put those in any format. And then plus the other thing I like to see here is that everything here is customizable. I can rearrange the reports or rearrange the Explorer the way I need to. I can rerun objects in here. I can create new objects in here. If I wanted to create a new pipe network, all I gotta do is say a pipe network creation tools, run that through. So Project Explorer, I just put a blog post in here. I will have some videos coming out to show the different aspects of this as well. Go ahead, it's a free download. Like I said, if you have your AEC collection, it will be in your account under your downloads, and then it just pops right into Civil 3D. It runs right here in the add-on tools. And that's all I had for Civil 3D. Those are my 5 tips and tricks. They weren't the top ones, but they were kind of some obscure stuff that don't get covered in classes very often.